I've worked in government and nonprofit work for a long time, and usually the way it goes is that government learns about a problem and then eventually they respond. And this is an unusual case where our state leaders have had the foresight to be on the front edge of it. States are now realizing this huge hunger crisis and are struggling and scrambling to respond, but I'm proud to live in a state that had the foresight to be ahead of the curve.
We are the only state in the nation that has a food security advocate who's designed to bring together all of those good, well-meaning people who function in different spheres and bring them together and not let them be siloed, but put them together.
The office was created through legislation in 2021, and I took office in 2022. And the office serves to coordinate food security efforts from around the state, define what food security actually means for the state. And we are mandated to create a food security action plan for the state as well. So there's a lot of convening of champions that are really doing this work. There's a lot of collaboration and a lot of very community-based trauma-informed research and evaluation that goes into our work on behalf of the state.
That office has already been really impactful, bringing, again, all the state agencies around the table to coordinate efforts, looking at the various programs and how they work and how people can collaborate with each other, really taking a deeper dive into the issue.
And working together has now made New Jersey the leader in resolving food security issues. We are being the ones who looked at by all the states around us. How's New Jersey doing this?
I feel like even the Office of Food Security Advocacy has been amazing for us because we've been able to network and meet people we never would have had access to and be able to learn and figure out other ways, better ways to work our operations.
For all of our vaunted strength, food insecurity, which means the number of people that have to choose between feeding their babies or paying their rent, has gone up.
We're seeing our clients come to us not month after month, not year after year, in some cases decades. So that tells us that we're missing something.
We have to look at it as a structural long-term issue. How can we tackle the root causes? Housing is a big problem. Housing, in my mind, housing is a huge problem. How do we handle that? Healthcare, all these things are intertwined.
And we're in the process, through a grant that we received directly from the state, of creating a resource center directly next to our food pantry where we can provide more than just food. So we can provide resources like job training, even just computer skills, receiving SNAP benefits, nutrition information, that sort of thing. So the state has been amazing, and that's been our biggest opportunity, and the state came in to fully fund this room for us, so it's been great.
When the fiscal cliff came, which would have reduced the minimum amount for SNAP benefits, and the amount was going to be reduced in a post-pandemic move.
So now, when we were in the pandemic and folks were getting maximum SNAP benefits, when that all went away, when all the pandemic-related waivers went away, people lost hundreds of dollars a month in SNAP benefits in some cases. The minimum benefit disproportionately impacts seniors and people with disabilities.
And I see the magnitude of the problem. We also experienced it firsthand with my wife's parents. They're elderly. Basically shut in because they're not mobile any longer. They're in their 90s, both of them. So there were food insecurity. It'd be nights if no one was there to cook for them, that they would go without eating.
So there were a lot of seniors that were going from getting $250 a month, would have gone back down to $23 a month, which is the federal minimum SNAP benefit.
But when that cliff came, only one state in the nation said, no, we're not going to let that happen to our people. It was New Jersey. And so now our minimum amount is $95, which is what it was with the federal support.
We've increased funding for school meals so that more kids get to eat. We've increased relief to the food deserts to try to attract grocery stores to that. We included in our economic development package a program to help eliminate food deserts, which I think is unique and special.
This is a human right for people to come in here and get food. It's a human right, right? You talked this morning so eloquently, Speaker Coughlin, about all the money that's in the food space. It's not a money issue, y'all. Like, we prioritize sending bombs over to other countries. We prioritize putting satellites out in space. The money's there, the food's there. It's a logistical issue, and it's a prioritization and mindset issue.
We don't have a food insufficiency in this state. We don't have a volunteer shortage. We don't have a shortage of people who want to make a difference. What we have is a getting the food to hungry people challenge.
We have 10,000 farms. We have innovative farmers. We have fresh, healthy food here, and we have families that need it. I think the speaker does what he does because he sees the opportunity for all of us to come together and make change.
When I started 6 years ago, New Jersey was contributing $10 million towards food insecurity. It's up to $85 million now.
The speaker is, of course, the leader in this field. He has taken it to heart and he has worked long and hard on it. And we're going to be working together in this with all other stakeholders, as I mentioned before, to make sure that we achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves.
Every dollar that we invest in a strategic way like this produces an incredible return, because feeding people is good public policy. Our state works better when everybody is fed.
New Jersey is so unique, and I think when you're in it, you don't realize it. But the partnership that we have with government is not something to take for granted. Speaker Coughlin, there is no bigger champion for the issue of food insecurity really in the country. We are not only able to provide food to people, but it's healthy food. And so we are helping people. The return on investment of these grants is really to help people live healthier, more productive lives. The reason these grants matter so much is that we've really shifted over the years in terms of the kind of food we provide. 35% of what we provide is fresh produce. If you don't have refrigerators or trucks to be able to transport things quickly, you can't do that. So that's the reason that we're sort of investing in this infrastructure to be able to make healthy food more available to everyone.
So from the New Jersey state, one of the things we've received is an NJEDA grant for lease support, because we did open up a new annex, and that's been incredibly helpful for us. We also work with our food bank, Norwest Cap, and they've been able to double their capacity, and some of that has been because of state support.
As you know, again, because of the work that he's been able to do with others, we've been able to provide more food. We're up 70%. Our deliveries are up 70% over the last 2 years. That's in large part thanks to the renovations we've been able to do, the additional food we're able to purchase.
So just as we're coming out of the pandemic and we were seeing the lines at our door get longer and longer, the help was already there.
Last year, we helped feed roughly 78,000 New Jersey residents in need. The support we've received from the state of New Jersey has been absolutely critical and fundamental.
There has not been a day in Homefront's history when we could not serve every person who came to us for food. And honestly, without the help from the state in the last several years, that would not have been the case, right? We do a lot to raise other money and run drives and garner community support, but those things are always going to be limited. And so that little additional help from the state has meant so much more than a little, because it's allowed us to have the peace of mind that every person that comes to us that's in need, we're going to be able to meet that need. That was not a foregone conclusion. Thanks to our leaders of the state, we had the resources to respond immediately. And, I talk with organizations all over the country, and that's not the case in other states.
We're trying to transform people's lives, not by being a missionary either, right? We know that this community has all the answers and the solutions. We're empowering them by giving them access to food. That's why you won't hear me or anybody else on the staff say, we feed people. We're not feeding people, right? These aren't babies that are showing up here. We're giving people access to food. And we're also giving them access to social services. You talked about that as well.
Ending hunger is about wrapping services and supports and community around a family, an individual, a child, so that they're building that agency to go after opportunities to buy food themselves. So we as individuals have to, one, challenge our perception, our traditional perception of what it actually means to combat food insecurity and hunger.
It is obviously a noble goal to end food insecurity. But if we do that, we're actually achieving so many other aims. That means that families are self-sufficient. That means that there's enough breathing room in the budget to support you and your family. And so the food work is critical, but it's also symbolic of a much larger fight in the state.
Speaker Coughlin embodies that political will to enter the fight against food insecurity and to make change.
All of these items are signature public policy initiatives, and he's not done. He won't be done until, there's an end to hunger in the state of New Jersey.
Having things in place to help people, to make everybody feel like they're fully part of the community and the state, that's what really matters. That's why it's good for all of us. We have an obligation to each other. We have an obligation and an opportunity to help one another. And we ought to.